thanks for tuning in to another episode of My Racing Story. Delighted this week to be joined by three-time champion jockey Oisin Murphy. Oisin, thanks very much for coming on. So we normally start off, I suppose, a bit about your background, how you first kind of got involved in racing, your first experience with horses, I suppose.
Hi Emma, thanks for having me on firstly. I suppose I grew up around ponies from a very young age, and it's all I dreamed about at night time from probably the age of 4. And I was really into show jumping. The Irish team have always had a strong group of riders, and probably from all the way through primary school and early secondary school, my ambition was to uh, get to a decent level and buy and sell ponies, and hopefully one day maybe train with some of the best riders. And it was apparent to everyone that I wasn't very tall, and as I didn't grow through my teens, my uncle Jim said, Jim Cullity said, "Why don't you ride out for me?" So my first experience with racehorses was probably from the age of 14, and I wasn't very good. Got run off with all the time, and I didn't enjoy that, and I wanted to improve. So he sent me to a few different stables, Tommy Stacks, and then Aidan O'Brien's, and lots of small trainers around Cork used to bring their horses to gallop at Jim's place. So I got the chance maybe to ride bits of work and school sometimes, and it was all very good fun. And then when I finished secondary school, it got a bit more serious because it was time to try and make it as a jockey. And I decided that I was going to, if my weight stayed good, that I was going to try and be a flat jockey. And as everyone knows, and all your listeners will definitely know, that it's very competitive in Ireland, and there's less racing than there is in the UK. So it was decided that my best chance of maybe making it as a jockey was to go to England. And William Buick and David Probert had just finished their apprenticeship with Andrew Balding, and they'd done very well. So he accepted me there, and there was like 10 of us apprentices. 8 of us are now professional jockeys there at the same time, which is quite extraordinary. And it took a while to get going, maybe 6 months or so, but he gave me loads of opportunities, and fortunately, before long, I was riding winners regularly.
And just to go back a step first, I suppose you mentioned you went to Ballydoyle for a few months before going to the UK. What was that experience like for you? I suppose being in a yard with the likes of Aidan O'Brien, lots of top jockeys riding out there. It's probably crucial enough in your progress, I suppose, as a young lad.
Yeah, I did 2 summers there, and Joseph and his 2 sisters and Donica were all riding out at the time, and there weren't that many other young people there. And we had a lot of fun, but also I suppose we were all trying to improve. And Aidan took time out of his busy schedule in the evenings to come around and say, "You should have had your heels down a little bit more, and don't have such a tight rein when you jump off." And he used to pick out little things all the time, which is quite extraordinary when you think he has so much to worry about. And he went out of his way to help me. So um, it was extraordinary seeing these incredible horses every day. Thinking about, a few years previously, I used to watch them on the television, and all of a sudden, I was riding beside them in the mornings. And I remember probably the end of my first summer there, he started to allow me to ride work, and that was really special. I mean, the adrenaline rush, it's almost hard to replicate it now, even when I'm riding big winners or really important horses. So I was very grateful of my time there.
And I suppose going back to you moved to the UK then afterwards, like you said, success came quite quickly. You were champion apprentice, I think, within the first 2 years, got the Qatar job quite young. But I suppose finding a horse like Running Lion so early on was probably key to cementing yourself, I suppose, in that position. He obviously meant an awful lot to you.
Yeah, I was just very lucky that when I was apprentice at Andrews, Sheikh Fad had some horses there, and they had so many horses that I used to fall in for spare rides almost every weekend, and a few of them won. And then I got more opportunities off the back of it. And in 2018, well, 2017, Rowing Line came along, and he won the Royal Lodge, and I should have won the Racing Post Trophy on him at Doncaster. I hit the front a little bit too soon, and then Saxon Warrior came back and beat me, and I kept the ride on him the following year, and it wasn't a great start. In the Craven, he was not yet ready, and he was still a bit raw, and he was well beaten by Massar. And then in the Guineas, he was a lot better, but still not quite there. And then he was very impressive in the Dante, and all of a sudden, Roaring Lion had arrived on the scene, and so had I. So every jockey needs a special horse to kind of kickstart their career, and I was lucky that it came along when I was quite young.
Even talking there of Running Line, you're quite self-critical, I suppose. Like, you won your first jockey's title in 2019, went on to win 3 in a row. How hard is that push to keep maintaining that level, for season upon season? It must be kind of tough mentally and physically.
Yeah, it's probably as tough as you make it as well. It was my number one goal, and it's all I thought about from May until October, and put a lot of pressure on myself to achieve it. And then, when you have maybe a patch where things aren't going so well, it's difficult to not think about it. So, as you get older, that becomes a bit easier, but even the current situation I'm in, I'm very hungry to try and keep momentum going and please everyone, and it's a pretty busy schedule.
Yeah, and this season kind of seems to be going as well as ever. Like, you start off the start of the year, is your target always to be champion jockey? Kind of, or were you a bit maybe more cautious? Obviously you went through your ban and you came back. Were you cautious to go straight back into that, knowing how tough it was on you before?
And I was probably never in a position last season to give William Buick anything to think about. I had a very good start at the Guineas meeting with Mauge winning, and Running Line actually won. I think I had 4 winners on the opening weekend, but then I picked up a few careless riding suspensions, and in July last year I only rode 7 winners in Britain, which really wasn't good enough, and my strike rate was the lowest it's been. I think since I was an apprentice, maybe the lowest ever. So that was disheartening, and I needed to find some form and bounce back. And August was a bit better, but I ended up finishing second, and my end of the season was okay, and I had good success in America. I think I know I had 5 Group 1 winners last year, whereas this year I've only had 2, and Royal Ascot went well enough. And this month has gone okay so far. So I very much think day by day and even week by week trying to find horses for that weekend that might win, or for those big races. As everyone knows that horses get sick easily and pick up little knocks. So it's imperative maybe not to look too far into the future.
Yeah, it's not going too bad at the moment, I suppose. A lot of big weekend winners, lots of doubles, trebles. But I suppose, like, away from maybe the numbers game, is there any like targets maybe a bit more left of field you'd like to achieve? I know you had a plan to ride over jumps, which was thwarted by was it weather circumstances? Is that
Yeah.
something you'd like to do again, or was it just maybe a once off? Or
No, it's something I would love to do. I was very small, obviously, when I was schooling all the time at my Uncle Jim's place, but I got a huge kick out of it, and I'm not sure I get the same kick out of it again, but I have they put up hurdles. They call it the bowl in Lambourne, where they put like 8 hurdles behind Nicky Henderson's yard. And I have been around there a few times. And okay, it's not racing pace, and you're not dealing with a large number of horses, but it was great fun, and it would be fantastic to ride in a jumps race. I'm obviously cautious of not embarrassing myself and not falling off if I can, but hopefully this winter I'll be able to achieve it. I'd actually have to apply for a jumps license again, but I've already passed the kind of exam or the riding test. So hopefully the BHA will grant me a license, and then it would be great if I could ride for an Irish trainer at, preferably maybe at Wincanton, because my middle sister Blaheen works there. She's the manager at that racecourse. And they have lots of winter meetings. So I'm not asking for a lot. I'm asking for a safe horse, hopefully well handicapped, at my sister's race course in winter time. That's the ambition. Yeah.
I'm sure someone will find one for you, and plenty of people will get a good kick out of watching that as well.
Yeah, hopefully.
What about riding in Ireland? Obviously, you came over to the Stole. Was quite high profile for the Harvest meeting. Did you ever maybe consider coming back to Ireland riding here, or are your targets always going to be in the UK?
Oh no, the dream of every Irish jockey is to ride winners in Ireland, but there aren't many spare rides, and there are a lot of good jockeys in with each trainer, and it's lovely to come over at the weekend and pick up some outside rides. And I didn't have an opportunity this weekend, but hopefully on Irish Champions weekend or something, it would be great if I could come over. I mean, Porta Fortuna has had a few different jockeys, and maybe if Ryan Moore wasn't available on Irish Champions weekend, were she to run in the Matron Stakes, hopefully Donncha might consider me again. But all those things would be great, but there's lots of ifs and buts.
Yeah, always nice to have your hat in the bag for those big high-profile rides, I suppose. I'll ask you 2 more questions before I let you go, Oisin, because I know you're a very busy man. First off, I suppose you've achieved an awful lot in a very short space of time in your career. If you could give any advice to one young rider, what would it be?
Well, there are many good ones in Ireland at the moment. I think Wayne Hassett, Joseph's apprentice, could go the whole way. He's the right size, and he's an intelligent rider, and with a great work ethic. And I think it's just, some people it takes a while to get going, and others are a bit more fortunate that opportunities come more quickly. But if you can keep the hunger and maintain the work ethic, hopefully the chances will come your way. And certainly when it comes to Ireland in particular, you might have to wait a couple of seasons, but with hard work, you can achieve. I think that's really the main point I want to make.
And last question before you go: if you could win any race anywhere in the world, what would it be?
Oh, the Arc, and it would be great if it was on an Irish horse. There was a very special moment in my life when Kieran Fallon won the Arc on Dylan Thomas, and he had the Irish flag over his shoulders as he walked back in. That was unforgettable, and it would be beyond my wildest dreams if I was in that position.
Fantastic. Hopefully we will see you there someday with the Irish flag on your shoulders after winning the Arc. But Oisin, thanks very much for coming on. Really enjoyed your story in racing, and I hope all the viewers enjoyed it too.
Pleasure. Thanks, Emma.